For God's sake, it never ends, does it? Would it be a PSN stream without the microphone somehow not working? I disagree. I just tease you. I just we're playing a bit hard to get here on the day after Boxing Day. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you've all had a lovely Christmas. I hope Santa spoiled you all. The main thing we can take away, as I was just telling myself, it turns out, is that the Eagles won. Okay, that no matter where this stream may take us in terms of debate, no matter what arguments we have or how we feel or how stressful and infuriating that game was, that the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Giants. They're 11-4. They've got another bigger lead now over the rest of the NFC East, and they should be primed to bring that bit home. Okay, they should be in contention now easily to secure the NFC East. Doesn't matter how it looks. Doesn't matter if you put the cake in the oven and you come out and it looks absolutely dreadful. It doesn't matter. You've got a cake, all right? If you can eat, it's how it tastes, not how it looks. Winning cures everything. That much is clear. However, I don't think I'm alone in saying that many people were absolutely distraught at one point in that game. That the Philadelphia Eagles made that as hard as they physically could. Like, not only were the Giants gianting all over the world, not only was Tommy DeVito awful, but at one point it was that bad, Tyrod Taylor had to come into the game. So the Eagles were not only just facing a backup quarterback on the Giants, but the backup of a backup, and still found a way to make that look horrendous in such a way that to start the second half, Olamide Zaccheaus tackled his own teammate. Now, I thought we'd left that stuff behind us. I thought the Jamon Brown era of sacking your own quarterback was a line in the sand, that the Eagles would never get to that level of just absolute atrocity again. But alas, here we are, a 10-win team with a player sprinting headfirst into his own kick returner. I've never seen the like. It was impressive. It sucked genuinely because I thought that before that, Olamide Zaccheaus was actually having a pretty solid game on special teams. I think he had one really big block. Was looking pretty solid out there. And then he goes and runs into to Boston Scott. So that went down like a cup of cold sick. But I think what we can say just as a collective is that the Eagles cannot sustain whatever this is. Like, whatever this product is right now is absolutely unsustainable. And I think I've found the core issue. There's no, lovely graphics today. I know it's the holiday season. I've been a little bit busy. But I think I realized something, like a light bulb went off. And a lot of people are quick to look at this Eagles team and try and put a finger on exactly why things are happening. Like, why is this offense that is so good and is filled with so much talent struggling as much as they are to get anything remotely cohesive going? Why is a defense with that much talent struggling to get sacks on the quarterback? Like, why is it taking Matt Patricia to take over play calling to get a positive return on investment, essentially? Like, why is a team coming off a Super Bowl that only got better in the offseason struggling to get past the Giants? And I think I worked it out. And I don't think it's a single thing. I don't think we can attribute it to Jalen Hurts, as some people are. I don't think we can attribute it solely to Brian Johnson or solely to Nick Sirianni or solely to Sean Desai, Matt Patricia, whoever. I don't think it's Darius Slay. I don't think it's AJ Brown. I don't think it's the social media. Like, all of the stuff that we've been pointing fingers at, I don't think it is. I genuinely, hand on heart, think there is a core issue on this team. And it's not really something you can get rid of without either a complete reset or a hard turning point. And I thought the Eagles have had enough of those. You look at the way that they've battled through this season with the losses to San Francisco, the losses to Dallas. You assumed that after the third consecutive loss against Seattle, a game they really should have won, that any of those three should have and could have been that turning point. But it wasn't. All it's done is make that same issue a lot more intimidating at the worst possible time. And the issue is, and I don't know, it's a culmination of everything, but this is not the same Eagles team that, like, mentality-wise, and I think this is where it stems from, okay? We all remember the Super Bowl team in 2017. That Carson Wentz goes down week 14 against the Rams, Nick Foles comes in, underdogs masks were being brought into play, Chris Long, Lane Johnson. the Eagles go on this miraculous run, the confidence, this level of, wanting to prove people wrong came in and overwhelmed the team. And the fire then burned up the city and spurred it to its first ever Super Bowl. Jason Kelce's Super Bowl speech, one of the most iconic moments in NFL history that embodied absolutely everything that team stood for. That it was a group of misfit toys, a group that the rest of the league doubted, GMs, the own franchise doubted, and that they overcame it. Since then, as with any fire, the fire burns out, okay? But for the fans, that fire doesn't, right? The fans still look at Jason Kelce's speech and they'll tear up and get emotional. They'll choke up looking at Super Bowl highlights of the Philly special, What happens, though, when you lose the head coach that instilled that mentality, when you lose a lot of the players, a lot of the veterans, Chris Long is a perfect example that instilled that mentality, and you bring in new guys, it's not their story. It's not their narrative. That's not their life, okay? So what I'm seeing with this team is one that pushes itself so far into adversity that all Eagles fans have known since 2017 is that they can get themselves out of trouble. That the Philadelphia Eagles can dig themselves out of hell. They can dig all the way down to the center of the earth, but they'll be right back up the next play. It's the Philadelphia mentality, right? But realistically, since Sirianni has come in, there hasn't been a need for that. They haven't been underdogs. Like the one time they were underdogs, which was last year, they had the easiest schedule in the league. Howie Roseman built an incredible team, and Jalen Hurts took a seismic leap in development. It very quickly, 5, 6, 7 games in, became clear that, okay, the Eagles aren't terrible. This is a very good, very polished football team, right? This is an extremely talented team that could make a deep playoff run. And then they get to the Super Bowl, obviously fall short. But now you're at a point where, and this is where it kind of stems from, every problem this team has is self-inflicted. Every single one. That I can't think of a time they've just been outplayed. They're never just, out and out, hey, do you know what? The Jets were the better team. The Niners were, surely Dallas, yeah. That didn't help. But there were still elements of them throwing it away, right? But the difference is that fans have been so familiar with this team and its journey that you expect when the Eagles get punched that they get back up and they hit back harder, or they at least try, that they go down swinging, okay? But a lot of turnover has happened in the last few years, and you've now replaced guys that resonated and embodied that with guys that aren't. And the way that Jalen Hurts carries himself and the way that Jalen Hurts sees football is different to how that 2017 team did. The way Nick Sirianni sees the team, the way the team sees themselves is completely different to how anyone else did back in 2017. So when we expect the Eagles to get punched in the throat and get back up and hit harder, instead, fundamentally, they just don't. Fundamentally, they get up and they wobble and they shake and they get scared and they panic. And it's not just the players, it's the coaching staff. You can see as soon as they get rattled, as soon as the start of that second half happened, there is no way the Eagles let the Giants back into a game like that. It is ridiculous. You cannot have, a 3-possession lead at halftime and come back with the Giants having a chance to win it. It is not acceptable, at all, okay? So instead of being put to the turf and having to get up and fight back, the Eagles hit the turf, and it's like, whether it's panic or finger pointing, how many times this season, I'm not singling it out as hating, I just want an example in the difference, right? How many times this season has AJ Brown been vocally seen on the sidelines losing his temper a bit, right? 6, 7, 8 times, potentially, maybe a few more, but around that mark, okay? I can't think of many times the Eagles were doing that a few years ago. Right? But the players deal with things differently. The way that AJ deals with that is different. The way that Jalen deals with it. And I guess for me, the comment that came out the other day, the newspaper article that said there were internal concerns about Jalen's leadership, which for me, I think is completely bollocks. There's no concern on that front. He's everything you could want in a leader. What I genuinely think, where this came from, is that someone in that building is not seeing that rah-rah type of Philadelphia typical Brian Dawkins-esque leadership to rally the team out of a hole. And Jalen, as we know, puts his head down, gets his helmet on, puts the team on his back, gets the job done. But that's fantastic for an individual. I'm wondering if that's maybe where that disagreement is coming from, whoever leaked that story, is that the Eagles get complacent. As soon as the first blow is dealt, as soon as the first punch is thrown, that the Eagles wobble. They don't just immediately hit back. They don't see red and push on. They wobble and they panic and they overcompensate and they try to overcorrect. And it's where these dumb, cutesy plays come in. And it's where the stupid turnovers come from and the lack of coordination, because it's like, oh my God, it's happening again. And as soon as it becomes a pattern, it's hard to break. Like, if you are used, like, all right, the term choke artist is a great example, okay? How many teams in sport do you consider have had a window of being choke artists where they get to like the fourth quarter, the final 2 minutes, whatever it is? It doesn't matter whether they're down 3, up 7, up 10, they will lose that game because fundamentally something just snaps and they panic and it's, oh my God, it's happened 8 times, it's going to happen again. And you just start like fulfilling this prophecy that you're writing yourself. And I don't think there is that level of just like core leadership on the Eagles, and not in that way, because there are some very strong leaders. It's just so different to what we've become used to. We're used to seeing the Eagles have a team, like I said, that can dig themselves out of adversity, that can put themselves in a hole like Jesus, like every Jim Schwartz coach game ever, but the players will dig out of it. And guys like Brandon Graham, guys like Fletcher Cox, who now are more trending towards role players than they are stars, okay? And the stars and the leaders on this team, Jalen Hurts is very quiet, very composed, does it all internally, does it himself, okay? A.J. Brown, individually rah-rah. Devontae Smith's very quiet. The offensive line, I don't know. It's, you know, I mean, obviously you've got Kelsey and Lane who are 2 big leaders, but in the secondary, Bradbury's not a leader. The safety group's very young. Byard's been great. I'll give Kevin Byard his props. I think he's been everything the Eagles need from a safety. We've all spoken about Darius Slay. There's no leadership in a linebacker room that has like no talent with long-term ties to the city. No one that has been through the trenches with the team. It's just like Cunningham and Morrow were brought in this year. Nakobe Dean's injured. Shaq Leonard was brought in 3 weeks ago. You're not going to feel comfortable being a rah-rah guy. But I think because of that, like there is just an empty shell where leadership should be to inspire that pushback. Like it just isn't there. And instead, there's just these creeping, like niggling doubts where I think you end up struggling. You put yourself in like behind the 8 ball and you can't get back out of it. And I don't know where it comes from and I don't know how to fix it, but it's the only explanation I've got for what has been a season-long pattern of the same mistakes. And every week we talk about Sean Desai. Every week we spoke about Brian Johnson and it's Nick Sirianni's offense. He should be accountable. Jalen's playing bad. He should be accountable. These players are bad. They should be accountable. At what point do we just say, look, maybe, just maybe, it doesn't matter how many fantastic individuals you have, if the overwhelming result is as a collective, cohesive unit, there isn't someone to drag them back from the gates of hell. And I don't think there is. And I don't think that's the reason that they're struggling, because they are getting over the line. It's like they're completely imploding. There's some level of talent and accountability there, but it is just missing that soul. And I said earlier in the year that the Eagles felt like they were playing soulless football, that it didn't feel like there was a rhythm or a rhyme or a reason. They were just doing things for the sake of it. And it felt soulless. And when I look at it through this lens of the team consistently pushing themselves against the 8 ball into unfavorable situations where they're going to get stamped on by teams who do have that sense of cohesiveness, confidence, trust in each other, it seems like it's just wavering. It just feels like it's not there. And I don't know where that starts. I don't know where it ends. But that's sort of where I'm at with this Eagles team right now after what has been a crazy month and a half. Is it doesn't feel like it's a talent issue or a coaching issue, just that there is no one to step up in the moment outside of Jalen Hurts to go, no, this is our team. We are better than this. Jalen is fantastic at individually going, no, I'm better than this, head down, get better. Like, I don't think there has been a time where the Eagles are down 7, down 10, down 13, and I've seen them really rally back, and there is a cohesive, no, you're going to run the ball 10 yards, and we're going to back it. Like, the brotherly shove would be a great example because it takes that effort, and that it's the only spot on the entire team where it feels unwaverably confident. It's the only play that they bring out time and time again where it feels we've got this, it's a given, it's a first down, do what you want, you can't stop us. That attitude goes out the window as soon as the defense are back on the field. That attitude completely disappears one drive later when the offense is back on the field and they go 3 and out because they decide to run it on 3rd and 8. There is no soul in this football team. And what the Eagles team had when they reached the Super Bowl last year was a soul, was an identity, was this sense of we're young, we're upcoming, we're doing this together, we're going to shock the world. You haven't seen anything yet. We believe in Jalen Hurts. No one else does. All right, when Phil Simms said that he was, one of the lowest graded quarterbacks that he had, okay? Oh, you haven't seen the best of Jalen. You haven't seen him at camp. You haven't seen him this summer. He's gonna change the world. Watch this. You haven't seen this offense. You haven't seen AJ Brown in Philadelphia play like this. You've not seen Devontae Smith hit his stride yet. There was this almost put your backpack on. All right, just watch. And then they proved it, and they haven't been able to run it back. And I think it's quite common. And I don't think it's a Super Bowl hangover as much as it is the team just not having that same fire burning. Maybe the fires burn them out. It's just eating them up. It's not something that is sustainable. Like how many more times can you have an inflammable substance to send you over the edge to get that extra 10-15% performance before it burns out? And it doesn't hit the same. And it happens to all the great teams, all the great players in any sport, that eventually there has to be another source of that. And as great as the Eagles are, it feels very much, and I've said it before, like they're a Manchester United right now, where it's a team of collective individuals. It's not a cohesive team top to bottom. There's too many miscommunications. There's too many dumb mistakes for an elite team of that reputation, of that success last year to be making. There is a soul missing in that team, and I don't know how you replace it. And look, if by some miracle of God, I clip this and I put it on TikTok and it blows up and everyone has a go at me on Twitter, and a player like Darius Slay, well, Darius wouldn't, he blocked me, but someone else retweeted it, and they start putting the emojis and the dog emojis and keep hating, and they use it as fuel. Fine, have it, take it, use it as fuel, light a fire and win a Super Bowl. You're welcome. But there's got to be something. And I don't care if it's me, I don't care if it's another content creator, I don't care if it's a family or fans outside the stadium, but it has to come from somewhere. That there's this element of belief and confidence that instead is just replaced by fear and overcomplicating things because they don't think they can get over the line. But oh my God, it's happening. Run the ball. No, don't do that. Screen pass. No, don't do that. Turn it. Oh, he's turned it over. What do we do? Like, it feels frantic and uncoordinated and stressful. That's not how you win a Super Bowl, And I don't know where it comes back. But we're 20 minutes into the show, and all I've done is rant at you. And I know you guys have been debating along with me in the comments, so I'm going to get to some of those now. A quick shout to the 5 people that have liked us on Facebook this evening. I can't see those that have liked on YouTube for some reason. It's really, heartbreaking, I know. But a quick shout to Ray Gonzalez, Super Corey Nido, Will Gonzalez, Lauren Walker, and Travis Strickland for liking the stream on Facebook. If you can leave a like, if you're on Twitter, we're on Twitter at the minute. I will retweet this from my own account because I probably should, given that I, doing work. I will do that now. But I know we got a few of you watching on there. If you give it a retweet, that'd be fantastic. If you're on YouTube and could leave a like, and if you like what you're seeing, that would also, it'd be great. Give us some festive cheer. Would be absolutely lovely. Kylie's in. Nice to see you, Kylie. Hope you had a lovely Christmas. Martian straight back with your PS5 turned on suddenly. It's the Christmas tree lights I'm worried about. They're the ones that I think are going to spin us out this evening. Did LJ quote Varsity Blues? I don't want your life. What's Varsity Blues? What did I quote? You're going to have to pull me up on that. I think I might have missed that, but it was unintentional. It was unintentional if I had. The Cowboys and Niners outplayed them. Potentially, I would say potentially, but I think at the end of the day, had the Eagles played to the level that we know they can, then they wouldn't have. I think the Cowboys played like they play every losing team. The Eagles played like a losing team. The Cowboys have a habit of like dominating bums and then getting showed up by any team that is like remotely decent. Okay, we can affirmedly say that now after the past 2 weeks. As soon as the Cowboys are a good team, they struggle. The Eagles should be playing to the level of the Niners. They should be hitting the level of the Bills and the Dolphins, and they didn't. And they didn't show up. So I would say that. But we'll get to some more of your comments. Bayard, Mark says he feels is a great leader. I do agree with that. That one, that's an instant ban. That is an instant ban. Okay, that's gone. That's out now. Toothpick Grinch. All right, we don't raise Darby in this. I almost said Darby Allin then. That's because AEW's on tonight. But we don't bring up Ronald Darby in this stream. I remember catching a lot of heat at the time for saying that the worst thing the Eagles did in that entire offseason was give that man a contract extension, and I hate that it turned out. Because the one thing I didn't want to be correct about. Ray says soulless is a perfect word for the team. Unfortunately, so I'm going to scroll to the bottom because I realise now that as we go through, I'm going to just be missing more of them. Rob on Twitter. I mean, that's our second comment on Twitter or X now. Love that from Rob. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too. And happy holidays, of course, to everyone in the stream as well. Yeah. I mean, the main thing is, again, the Eagles won. Okay, that's the main takeaway we've got is that the Philadelphia Eagles won. That's all we can say that is genuinely a positive from the rest of that game. But I'm going to try and go up and see what you guys are saying from the opening rant. Special teams, Tulian, just besides the UC, yeah, I mean, that's fair. Special teams is a shout. I would say that it's been, I mean, all right, I will say this. Britton Covey has been quietly one of the Eagles' best players this year. I will happily admit that, happily say that I think Jake Elliott, Britton Covey, I don't really want to start giving out punting praise just yet. I'm still not over Cam Johnston. But realistically, Britton Covey on returns has been a godsend for Philadelphia. Like, he had so much concern and doubt from his opening stint with the team. No one really had a lot of confidence in him back there. But the past few weeks especially, he's really, I think he's like fourth in return average in the NFL. Oh, I want to say fourth. It was like 13.4 yards, I think, per return. The average came up on the feed during the game, so that's what that was. But rudderless is also a good description for them. I like that. Then we'll get into our thesauruses, and we'll start trying to carve up some new words for this team, because I could definitely do with some. Isaac says, like, just now, I think the soul will come back because of these next couple games. That is a good point. But then again, I mean, I thought it would come back against the Giants, but it's hard to really come from... If the game was, this is the thing, if the game was tight from the get-go and they went into halftime up 3 points, up 5, even up 7, you'd be like, fair enough. And the Giants keep it close and they don't really stretch their legs and get away. Then we could sit here and be like, okay, well, do you know what? The Eagles, the next couple weeks, because they played a tight game there, they should have played better. It's the fact that they were so good in the first half, and like it genuinely felt weird. And like I tweeted at the time, a guy like Shaq Leonard was beating up on the Giants, running around like he was in his prime Pro Bowl seasons. You'd think, look, before he liked being called Shaq, he was playing like prime Darius Leonard. All right, and it was amazing. And the whole time is like, are the Eagles good or are the Giants like just really bad? And it felt like the answer was certainly somewhere in the middle. And then the second half happens, and the most just unintentionally ridiculous debauchery imaginable. A player storms into his own returner. The Giants get the ball at the 20. They score a touchdown, and you're like, okay, fine. Right, we go again. And then it just snowballed. And that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, I think that the Eagles, the only danger with those games is that if the Eagles go up big and one bad thing happens, the wheels are... It's not even like they start to wobble. The wheels blow off. And it's like a full state of panic. It's like as soon as the team scores one touchdown against the Eagles, all hell breaks loose on the sideline. AJ's throwing helmets and players are sulking and Jalen's staring at the floor going into his Super Saiyan mode. And, Brian Johnson's flipping through the playbook and Nick Sirianni's ranting at referees. And it's just like, you could put the Jackass theme to it and just watch the Eagles sideline for 5 minutes. Like, everyone is just like flying around. But I will say that I think that the Keely Ringo pick to seal it was good for momentum. I think that not only is it a young cornerback that's obviously had 2 good games in a row now, but it's someone that makes a big time play and a big time moment. It could have easily been a touchdown. Ringo comes up with the stop. And that's sort of like, for a defense that just hasn't had turnovers all year, to get that kind of play is certainly going to do something. Like, it's going to light the belly in the fire for teammates to be like, it's a, like, no one really just gets an interception and goes, yeah. And no one gets a game sealing one and goes, yeah. Do you know what I mean? So there is going to be like some momentum from it. I just think that they have to, well, they need to blow out a team in the way that the Cowboys have, and not to compare them, because they've got very separate issues. But when you watch a team like even the Niners or the Dolphins or the Bills blow out teams by 20, 30 points, the foot doesn't ever come off the gas until like the fourth quarter, and then the stat padding starts, and the players don't really care that much because the game's done by then. The Eagles will go up by 10, and then you blink, you make a cup of tea, you come back, and they're down by 3. And that takes a quarter, like, it doesn't take long. If the Eagles can blow out a team, if they can blow out the Cardinals or the Giants by 20 or 25 and say, hey, look, we just need a mistake-free game. And that's the thing. And that's what I think, for me, like, really is frustrating, is that the Eagles don't need to be airing it out 30 yards down the seam every single time, because their average is better than the majority of teams' best football in the league this year. The Eagles just playing safe, controlled, disciplined football, taking 8-yard gains, 12-yard dimes here and there, is enough to sustain drives and score. It's not hard. They don't have to be playing YOLO ball. They don't have to be launching balls up 25 yards every time. They just don't. They're not weak enough to do that. It's not this over-aggressive, all or nothing, everyone just launching passes for the sake of it. This is a team where they can just be conservative. And Brock Purdy's a bad example after obviously what happened on Christmas Day. But in the games before that, not to be a system quarterback, but just to have someone dictate the tempo of the game. There is no tempo on the Eagles offense. It is 1,000 miles an hour and death. And they often, intertwine, and they're 3 plays apart. But there is no just 30 miles an hour coasting. Little slant, little curl, little screen. All going to have a little run here. Like, there's no just cohesively calm, smooth, well-oiled running. And that really is all they need. But it feels like they want to be blowing everything up, and everything's got to be an explosion. It's bang, we are the Eagles. Bang, it's a touchdown. Lose that, and I think this team will be all right. But I think that compounds with the soulless thing we were talking about earlier, where if the team doesn't have that identity and they panic, you naturally turn to the more aggressive plays because you feel like you need to, oh my God, we've given up 7. We've got to go back down and score. And they lose more, and the more they do that, the more the plays don't work, the more they lose confidence, the more it spirals. Like, as bad as, you never compound a bad decision with a worse one. All right. A wise man once told me that during a round of golf. You don't compound a bad decision with a worse one. It doesn't matter what the result is. You can make a good decision and it turn out bad. That's fine. But you've made the good decision. You've chosen the pass underneath. If it gets broken up or it's intercepted and returned, who cares? It's the right play. You don't need to be over-aggressive and just throwing stuff down for the hell of it. And I think, again, it's just sort of unfortunately intertwined with a lot of what we were seeing against the Giants. Little G Griffith is in. Great team and go Eagles. I'm a big fan of Eagles kick Cardinals, but love that from Little G. The energy is always unmatched with that young man. I'm annoyed that our friend Jesus isn't here today, especially around Christmas. I thought it'd be right in the chat, but alas, he's not. One above all, thanks for your comment, man. He agrees with Alex T, and Alex is another one who's been commenting today. Bradbury should play safety. I like that, kind of. I mean, I don't think he should be playing at all, if I'm honest with you, Alex. But look, getting him further away from the ball is better than nothing. If I seem to remember rightly, no, he didn't play safety at New York, did he? But I just remember there being a lot of like missed tackle concerns. If I might be wrong, but I feel like there have been a lot of missed tackle concerns. Not so much in Philadelphia. If someone wants to go on like Pro Football Ref and look it up, then if I'm wrong, obviously, sorry, my bad. We've all had a few at Christmas, but I feel like there has been a bit of a history of missed tackles, and it's great that he's not going to be like bullied down the seam, and he's not going to be pushed to have his speed exploited or lack thereof. But then you're asking him to tackle and come downhill and tackle, and I think that might cause even more problems for the Eagles secondary right now. So in an ideal world, I think they trade him. I think you just have to ride and develop a guy like Keely Ringo. If you look at how old is Bradbury, like 29 years old, I think. I'll double check. I'll Google that. Oh, I've almost closed the stream tab then. That was close. Whoopsie daisy. Liam can't use the internet again. James Bradbury, how old is he? He's 1993. So yeah, what, 29, 30? How old's that? Is it going to show me? 30. I actually got that right. I am class. I bloody love James Bradbury. So he's 30 years old, right? Paid him a fair bit of money. I really think now, like, cornerbacks, in my mind, peak at about 28, 29. Because the game is so quick that as soon as you start slowing up even a fraction, you struggle a bit. And James Bradbury had his best football in Philadelphia. The problem with paying him what they have, and it's the same with Darius Slay, is they all get a bit older and they will struggle a little bit, and maybe they do lose a little bit of speed. Is that it's then hard for them to make it up in other areas, right? I know I use a lot of golf analogies, but if you look at the game of golf, the older players on tour can't hit a drive 300 yards, but they're really good around the greens and they're really good at chipping and putting. Corners, the caveat if they lose speed is to play them further off the ball. But then if they're bad tackling and had good speed before, it meant that you could like carry routes down the field and there'd be a safety there to sort them out. Now, if you don't have either of those, you just end up being bullied. And I kind of think that's what's happening. Because the safety again the safe decision is to put him further away from the ball. Meanwhile, a guy like Keely Ringo, who's an athletic freak with the best years ahead of him, is producing around the ball. He's great at the catch point, has got the wingspan you need to be successful at that position. I don't really think James Bradbury is needed. Like, what does James Bradbury bring this defense right now that Keely Ringo or Eli Ricks doesn't? Other than like a lot of headache, stress, frustration, and a few broken televisions. Like, is there anything that James Bradbury brings outside of a massive wad of cash? Because I don't think there is. And it's not a slight to him. I think he's just regressed. He's secured his contract. Maybe the motivation isn't there. Look, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not his best mate. I don't know what's going on inside his head. But if I hit 30 years old and I secure a fairly big payday and I've just come off a Super Bowl and the team around me is class, I probably would take it a bit lighter for a while. It's just sort of natural. You just take it off the gas a little bit because you've hit the goal. You've done what you needed to do for a bit to secure that money and that security. But I think you partner that with what I think is a slight regression. You compare it to a guy that's a rookie that's coming in, that's trying to fight for his playing time. It's the same reason why a guy like Cravon LeBlanc was so successful in Philadelphia, because he was an underdog, an undrafted guy, poached from the Saints, that just had this dog mentality. And you can even attribute that to what we were talking about 20 minutes ago in this stream, is that viciousness, that desire. Like, who are the players that embody that on this Eagles team, that play like, and I'm not picking him out as like an all-time great Eagle, but from a mentality perspective, a guy like Cravon LeBlanc, how many, a Rodney McLeod, a Cravon LeBlanc, I don't want to say Nigel Bradham, that's definitely not where I was going with it, but do you see what I'm saying? Like, how many guys like that have that mentality on this defense? Jalen Carter is very quiet, extremely talented, does his own thing. Don't think I've heard a word out of Jordan Davis, but I don't want to ask him a question because he'll probably stamp on me. Defensive ends outside of BG. Do you see what I'm saying? There just isn't that. I mean, a guy like Maddox we haven't seen. And Alex is 100% right. Sorry to spotlight him twice there. I promise I'm not just, on a little date with Alex. Although I do have a candle. So maybe I am on a date with Alex. Who knows? Who knows? Don't tell the girlfriend. I think they are. They are missing that leader. And while Kevin Byard's good, I still think he hasn't gone through enough with the team Because at the end of the day, it comes from experience, right? If a new guy comes into your work, to your job tomorrow, and starts trying to rally the troops and give you like motivational speeches, it'll just look like something out the office. You know, it'll look like Michael Scott or David Brent being like, yeah, guys, look, if you want to stat that paper, efficiency, you know, work together, teamwork, job done quicker. And no one's going to listen. But like, if you're in a spot of bother and that guy comes in and lifts you out of it and gives you that confidence of I can lean on him in a pinch, that's where leadership's built. You don't get strong leadership through good times. And I think that's also kind of going back to the Soulless thing, is the Eagles haven't really had a tough time in this era. In the Nick Sirianni era, what is the toughest bit of adversity the Eagles have had? It is getting out of their own way. Oh no, that must be so hard. I'm really sorry you've had to go through. They've not been injury stricken. They've not had to deal with contract holdouts. They haven't had to deal with divas off the field. There's no anonymous sources. There's no 4, 5, 6 game losing streak. The biggest issue that Nick Sirianni has had is deciding which pandering shirt to wear in a press conference. So there is none of that get up and go leadership to drag you up, because they haven't had any situations for the leadership to be instilled. I think we're working it out one by one. I think all of us together are working this out of what the core issue is here with the Philadelphia Eagles team. Let's go back to what you guys were saying. Doug says your way liked as well on. Did it? It probably did. That's the thing. It probably did at this point. Wouldn't even be mad at it. I'll just get the Ghost on as a co-host, and we can have some. Probably hates the Eagles as well. Be a very riveting conversation. We don't need motion. What we need is more slants with swift some outs and ins. All we do is goes, posts, and curls. Yeah, I mean slants are good. If you look at, I will get Jalen Hurts' passing chart up if I can, because it was literally atrocious. I looked at it the other day. Bear with me. I will actually share the screen this time. But I think you're kind of onto something there. Can I see week 16? Is that the one? Yeah. No, it's week 14. Well, it looks the same anyway. Oh, there we go. Right. So this is Jalen Hurts' passing chart, right, from Christmas Day. Dropped my bottle on my phone. Sorry about that. So Jalen Hurts' passing chart, Christmas Day. What are we noticing? Anyone in the class, tell me what we're noticing here. Yes, sir, in the back. Oh, it's, from the line, if you draw a box in the middle of the field, there's like 3 passes in there. And he was actually 3 for 4 and 1 went for a touchdown. Well done, Jimmy at the back. Well done. Gold star for you. You get to go 10 minutes early today. Anyone else tell me what we're noticing around here? Yes, Susan. There seems to be a weird cluster of passes around 10 yards. And Hurts was 1, 2, 3 for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3 for 10. 3 for 10. But he's throwing 10 of them. Oh, sorry. Yeah, 1 went for 30 yards. Yeah, never mind. Like, it's screens, and then there's stuff over here. And that's it. There is nothing over the middle. That was the Devontae. I'm pretty sure the blue one was the Devontae Smith one, which was literally a slant. The second one, I feel like was a Dallas Goedert one. I might be wrong, though. But I don't remember them having that much success over the middle. Funnily enough, because they weren't going there. So you're definitely right. You're definitely right. But it is just like absolutely wild to me that there is no life in over the middle. Like all your life is on the outside. You know, call me Eminem because we're going round the outside. That is all that Jalen Hurts and company seem to be doing right now. We'll get some more of your comments. Chauncey wasn't the leader. He brought so much swagger to the defense. Yeah, that was an element of conflict. I mean, he did my head in. It was a very annoying player. He's a player that you would love on your own team and you hate to play against. And that kind of just is the best sort of player to have anyway, because you're going to wind everyone up. And he did get himself into trouble occasionally. But, boss man crying over adversities is a dead ting in it, though. We're back. It's not even the new year yet. Not even the new year, but we are back with the dead ting in it, bro, fam. In it, my guy. Maddox's contract extension includes the 2024 season. Does it? So what is his contract situation now? I thought it was up next year. With me. Let me have a look. I can't type with one hand. I'm really bad at it. I need to search contract, don't I? Oh my God, the spell a word correctly challenge. Okay, no, yeah. So he's got Yeah, he's got one more year, essentially, and then a bunch of whatever Howie has done with the rest of it. So he's got one more contract. Apparently, he's on the books till like 2027, but realistically, he's just not. So it will be 2024 will be his contract year, I believe. You know what I really realised with all this drama going on is there hasn't been a players-only meeting. I mean, a players-only meeting would be really if they're really struggling. And I don't think they warrant that yet. But I do think that there has to be... I don't look. It'll be a great way to shut off the accountability concerns. Nick Sirianni comes to work. He's one day. His job's already done. The players have had a meeting. They've had a little chat. Look out the AJ and Smitty route chart. It's just as bad. Do I want to? Should we? Oh God. Okay. Go on then. Is this going to put me into some sort of? Hang on. Am I going to have a crisis? I can't even get next gen stats up. Oh, right. We'll share the screen again. There we go. Cool. Next gen stats. Oh, we need charts, don't we? Whatever bollocks it is. Receiving. Oh, it's so annoying. It's crazy. This is free information, though. I will say that. Player search. Brown. AJ Brown. Oh, God. Yeah. I wish I hadn't looked at that. So, for those that don't know, the route is white. An incomplete route is dark grey. And a complete route is like white. So, we're at 6 of 11. Oh, what is this? Oh, God. So what we can assume, right, and this is where the predictability this might just look like a mess of lines, okay? But genuinely, it means a lot. This really tells you a lot. Because what we can assume, I tell you what, I'll leave it to you guys. You tell me, right? Because, I mean, I do it for work. So maybe I don't want to sound condescending at all. But can anyone tell me, looking at this, right, what disadvantage... Like, if let's say we are the Arizona Cardinals, I'm Jonathan Gannon, and I'm looking at this passing chart of AJ Brown in Week 16, and I'm wondering, how can I stop AJ Brown? What clinical information can we get from that? Anyone have a guess? We're doing a social experiment because I'm genuinely intrigued to see. Before I say, I want to know like how obvious this is. Or how obvious it is. It might be something subtle, but to me, this just feels like... And I'm going to compare another one, if I can. Can I do that? Oh, it's not going to make me do it. Hang on. Yeah, I'm going to open another tab, and I'm going to compare it with another receiver. And from there, you'll see exactly what I mean. Okay. Yeah, no, that's absolutely perfect. That is absolutely perfect. Okay, point proven. Lovely. All right, someone see what I can got. Play 3 people to the right side. We're sort of there. If we target AJ over the middle, he gets yak opportunities. If he's to the sideline, you can limit his damage. Greetings, Liam from Canada. Nice to see you, Matt. Hope you're doing well, man. Hope you had a tremendous holiday period. All right, no double moves or his routes are flat. So this is all really good. This is all really, really good. Here's the issue. Okay? To me, that feels really obvious. That outside of one route over the middle, literally one route that goes the other way, right? Yeah, Dylan's got the point. Dylan's nailed it. All right. So basically, if you look at this, every time AJ Brown lines up on the right-hand side of the field, he stays on the right-hand side of the field. That's a very easy receiver to bracket then. That becomes, it doesn't matter if he's lined up in the slot, if he's on the outside, if he's at the back. It doesn't matter where he lines up. If he's on the right, he's going right. If he's on the left, he's going left. All right? Conversely, let's have a look at Tyreek Hills from the other day. This is week 11, sorry. Obviously, he's been out for a while, but he's arguably the best receiver in the game at the minute, so it made sense to just compare how the Dolphins use him. You've got a bit of motion in the backfield. Starts to the right, goes right twice. You've got a little flick on a curl and go there that goes left. 2 that go left. Starting in the middle, he works right. Then he works left, and a few down the seam. The difference between that and that is absolutely astonishing. Like, that is genuinely, like, Who else can we look at? Who's a good receiver? I mean, Cooper Cup's been good. Nakua, I kind of want to look at because he's someone that isn't really great, but is genuinely like, yeah, look at this, right? Look at this. This is, when was this? I don't fucking know. Week 16, excuse my French. Week 16. You tell me how you're going to defend that. Tell me how you can stop that. Like, you don't prepare for that. He lines up, he does damage. He could run anywhere. At any point, he could go left, he could go right, he can go deep, he can go short. AJ Brown. Yeah, he's going to be on the right-hand side, and he won't do anything. if he's on the left, he goes left. If he's on the right, he goes right. Meanwhile, over here, look at that. You've got slants. Like, that is wild. CD Lamb and Debo. All right, let's do those as well while we're having this exercise of how genuinely awful the Eagles are at play calling. CDs is interesting, but there's a lot more. Yeah, this is CD Lamb. Yeah, that one's interesting. That one is interesting. I mean, he'd still put up like a butt ton of points there. Well, 118 yards on the touchdown. But it's one of them where it's working though, isn't it? But even there, he's still working left over for a big gain. Like, a lot of his yards are schemed to be after the catch, though. If you look at the route where the catch is and where he ends, a lot of it is designed to be like that shorter part of the field coming over the middle. So, like, I guess Brandon Cooks would have probably been the more interesting one to look at out of the two. If I'm correct on it, let's just have a look a minute. If you get Brandon Cooks here, just for... Yeah. So, this is just to have a look, to compare. Again, to double check. This is it's week 12. Never mind. You get my point. We'll have a look at Debo. I mean, they're very different types of receivers, though, Debo and AJ. But in terms of how you can say the same with Nakua, actually. But yeah, even there, look, starts right, works left, starts left, 2 left deep touchdowns. You got some working left. There's just more variety. Like, even that compared to that is so congested on that right-hand side of the field. It's genuinely, like, weird. No happy endings. Yeah, I'm genuinely glad we've done this. Like, is there another... I mean, we can look at Jefferson's probably who's a big receiver, like a big body wide out that kind of plays the same style as AJ. Do you know, I hate to say Amari Cooper because they're not similar at all, but in terms of that number one getting targets, he could be a shout. Outside, I mean, Traylon Burks, but he doesn't really do anything. I mean, that would be the most like-for-like comparison in the NFL. I don't know. Let me know if you got any ideas. Let me see. Yeah, DK. Yeah, never mind. I take it back. I don't know how I missed DK. Jesus, you can tell I'm knackered. Thank you for whoever that was, by the way. You gonna load up here? DK Metcalf. All right. Even there's still some variety. Yeah, I mean, this is a good one. This was, this is week 10. Oh, no, here we go. Week 15, sorry. Like you can see there, very left to the boundary, but working left over the middle, deep passes. The one against the Eagles, I think, is unfortunately really good. You've got some wizardry going on here, working big over that deep middle. A little bit like AJ, but there's more variety. Like, you've got one crossing right, one crossing left, 2 posts, 1 short, 1 long. There's a variety of routes. There, that's 3 of the same route there. That is 3 curls or 3 comebacks. Do you know what I mean? It's a Michael Pittman. All right, we'll do one more on Pittman. I don't know how we got into this, but I do find it really fascinating just how receivers are used. Pittman's a great shout as well. Pittman was only targeted. That's a good look at that. That is so much. Look at that. That is a work of art. That's beautiful. That gets me erect. I can't lie. You've got deep, outs, ins, shallows, stuff near the lot. Like, that's perfect. That... What are we doing? What is that? What is that? You cannot expect to run a sustainable offense when your number one wideout is running what? How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of his 11 targets, near enough. Well, I've drawn 3 there, but you know what I mean. Oh, no, he's only got 11. I don't know. You know what I mean. Anyway, it's too much. You get my point. And that's Shane Steichen. Look at AJ last year. Oh, don't do that. It's a good shout. I think we should fit for context, but I'm just going to cry, aren't I? Like, can we have a look? What have we got in 2022? Oh, it's 2020. 2022. That was Super Bowl. Well, we need to get him back. Or can I just have to? Oh, here we go. Super Bowl week 18. Oh, look at that! Look at this! Where's this? Week 13, 2022. Where is that? Look at it. Look, he's running everywhere. There isn't a blade of grass the man hasn't covered. There isn't a bit of turf the man hasn't touched. And you look at him now, and he's just got 4 passes at that. It's ridiculous. Wow. That I'm absolute. Oh, it's not refreshing. Hold on. There you go. Look at it. Look at that. That's AJ Brown in 2022 in week 13. That is unbelievable. Sorry for not that refreshing a bit, but that is. Yeah, I don't know whether it's Nick Sirianni, and that's where everyone says, oh, that it falls on Sirianni. It's Sirianni's offense. It's Sirianni's offense. Okay, lovely. But if the difference between Sirianni's offense last year and this year also coincides with a changing of offensive coordinator, I think I know where I'm going to point the blame. That is absolutely ridiculous. That I cannot get over how good that is and how bad it is this year. I mean, it won't all be like that for AJ. I'm sure if we look at like this 2020, I'm hoping you can still see this tab now. I'll double check it. I've got a feeling they're not all going to be that bad, but it's a growing problem, you know? 2023, AJ Brown. Okay, right. Bad. Not as bad, but left goes left, right goes right. Excuse my French, but what is that? What is that? That one's not as bad. All right, we got to week 8. He's looked at that. That's not as bad. That's not as bad. This is all he's playing well, isn't it? That one's all right. That's fine. What's happened? What's this? Week 1. You couldn't ask for better in week 1. Look at that. It's magical. And then you get to the last, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. The last 4 weeks. And I don't know what's happened. I really don't know what's happened. Show Hurts passing chart. I think we're going to, I don't know. I'm going to put myself into some sort of crisis. Otherwise, I shouldn't. We're going to stop. We'll get to some of your comments now. I know we've only got a few minutes left. It's not like guys aren't open. Hurts isn't getting in the bleeding ball. That could be it. Hurts, as Alex just says. Shout out to Alex, by the way. He's been in this stream most of the night. I think we can welcome him into the Core 12. For those that don't know what the Core 12 is, it is the same 12 people that come through this stream every day on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern to talk birds with myself and the rest of our loving community. If you want to be part of it, just show up. Just show up. Do what the Eagles don't. Show up. Yeah? I'll see you on Friday if you want to be part of it. But thanks to everyone that has been tuning in so far. If you could leave a like on the stream again, it is the best way to support what we do. It really does help the algorithm just reach more Eagles fans so we can rant about AJ's passing shot. But my God, that is... I thought this would be, post-game therapy, that I'd come away from this session and feel calmed and refreshed. I haven't. I really haven't. Calm down, mate. K1's in. I hope K1 had a lovely Christmas. I will say that. Moist meter at 11. It was at a 12 when I saw that last picture. I can't lie. It was at a 12. Can we put coaches in concussion protocol? That's comment of the night from Primal. I love that. That is absolutely tremendous. So, yeah, with a few minutes to go, I mean, obviously we can look ahead to, what's going on this weekend. And I mean, I will be... No, that's fine. I have a stream Friday and Monday, don't I? That's okay. I should be able to do Monday. That should be fine. My girlfriend's birthday is on New Year's Eve. That's all. So I might be away. I'm not going to get to see the game. I'll watch it on Monday and then bring you my thoughts then, I assume. But yeah, it should be fun. I mean, in terms of the Cardinals, it should be a cakewalk. I don't know what the spread is. I've not actually looked yet, which is unlike me. Do I want to? I'm going to guess they're like 13-point favorites. I'll have a look. I'm just genuinely intrigued. If I had 12.5 over the what they call giants. I can't see them being much less. Oh, it's making me sign. I want to sign up. If you want to sign up, Philly Sports Network. Oh, what I will say, sorry, really quickly before I do lose you all, is 2 days time. So Friday night on the 29th at 7 p.m. The stream will be replaced by the PSN Awards show. So Friday night, 7 p.m. There's no Eagles Cardinals pregame, but you will have as many PSN writers as we can round up, suited, booted, sat down, ready to give out some awards, just to recognize the achievements, the success, the progress of everyone at Philly Sports Network this year. So, no Eagles stuff on Friday, but we will have an entire PSN cast assembled in StreamYard, or Zoom, where we can all sit here and just, share some happy memories, recognize everyone in a wholesome way. If you haven't had your vote in saying that, there is a form somewhere. I don't know. I need to get a link, don't I? Bear with me. I did tweet it earlier today. I'll quickly grab it for you now, though, because it'll be, if you want to vote for the Outside Insider to win Show of the Year, I mean, that'd be great. I'll level with you. I've got access to the stats, and I'm not winning it currently, and I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. I'm joking. It's fine. I can't even find the bloody... God's sake. Come on. Fill it. No. Can't even find it. I really need a producer, is what I need, because I can't type with one. Or a mic stand would be the opposite one, wouldn't it? That would also be quite handy. Where are we to? Just need the link. What's going on here? Why have I got tweets from... Why is it showing no, Oh, maybe it's showing highlights. Oh, never mind. Anyway, go to twitter.com/PhiladelphiaSN and you can see all the awards on there. I'll try and get the form. I don't know where it is, man. Hang on. I'm going to get a link. I will get a link. Don't you worry about that. I'll find it. Probably. Maybe. I've got to try it and log in. Nah, okay. Anyway, it'll be there somewhere. All right, I'll get a link for Friday's stream. You can all vote beforehand. I'll put it on Twitter after this. But yeah, thank you all for hanging out. It's obviously trending in the AN. I'll ruin it for you now. I've won every award that there is to win. All right, no one's beating me. It's just one big Praise Liam stream, really. I'm going to get every single writer in, and then I'm going to win every award. So I hate to spoil it for you all, but that's just how we do it. Our votes are fungible. What awards did the Core 12 get? You get the best fan. You get the best community on the internet is what you get. That's what I would say. Sexiest writer is Chris. There is a runaway winner for sexiest writer, and I don't disagree with it. I mean, Justin Crosby is our reigning champion, nicknamed Big Sexy for winning sexiest writer of the year. PSN have got some good-looking chaps and chapettes. I will say that. We're a tremendously good-looking group, I think. But you know who wins worst facial hair? There's just no need, is there, really? It's Christmas, K1. Where is the festive spirit? Where is the lovely, wholesome, adoration, festive cheer, compliments? Where's that? Worst facial hair? Who has the worst facial hair? I think it's lovely facial hair, K1. It's lovely, all right? I've had 4 shaves this year. And that's not even counting the one I'm about to have. So that'll be 5 by the time the year's out. Yeah? And then I'll start in November for next year. And we'll start raising money for charity. Yeah? So it's on you, really, isn't it? I hope you feel bad. Because I'm raising money with this. And you're just raising my anger levels. So you've got that going for you. Sexiest writer is Chris, says Isaac. Chris has got a few votes. He has got a few. I don't think there's any... I mean, someone asked if they can vote for spiders or something like that. That literally, can we vote for a spider? Or it's some dodgy comment. But I'm not surprised because, I don't know where this synergy started, but again, I used to. This show used to be a podcast a few years ago, and we used to have it. The real OGs will remember a section called "Thank You Next," where you could send in questions like a mailbag, and I would get through them as quick as I could. And someone once sent in a question by email, found my email address, and emailed me the question about the Eagles: do you ski? I don't know what I meant to answer that. So I'm not surprised that someone has found the award show and gone, can we vote for spiders? So, I won't complain. I love it. It makes PSN the most unique community on the planet. I love it to bits. So 2 hairs on your chin does not make a beard. That's why worst beard's a separate category. He's absolutely mugged me off. I can't believe it. Right, guys, on that note, I will see you Friday. I'll be suited and booted, sat here with maybe a little glass of wine to go through the awards show. I cannot wait to recognise some of the up-and-coming PSN talent, hopefully some of them that will be featuring much more prominently on our YouTube channel over the next 12 months. But if I don't see you on Friday, have a happy new year. I hope the Eagles win and take that stress out of the equation for you. But just enjoy the rest of 2023, and thank you for spending so much of it with me and with the guys at Philly Sports Network. I love you all to bits. We're so grateful for all of your support that you continue to give us, not just on videos, but articles and all the rest of it. I will save the big soppy speech for Friday for obvious reasons. But in case I don't see you, just thank you for welcoming me back on the YouTube space and tuning in and making me feel so welcomed again. So very lucky to have you all. I hope you all have the happiest new year and you're with those closest to you and you can just ring in the new year with a lot of festive cheer and think about my lack of facial hair. Guys, go Birds. I'll see you all on Friday for the awards show. See you soon. Go Birds. Take care. Go Birds. Goodbye. Go Birds.